One thing I'm gonna work on is hands. Hands and upper body will keep the feet basic. But the reason I'm saying this is because sometimes, I was doing this a lot, it feels stiff sometimes. Sometimes the hands feel high, sometimes they feel like here. You don't want elbows too in, because then this is not something you want to look like, right? If you want to push it down here and then act like you're holding someone's hands while you're dancing, these are Dominican grips of how you hold somebody else, right? This is where you really want your hands. You're never going to hold somebody like this. Even if you hold them up, it's going to be like a rainbow out here, right? This is all the places that you're going to hold. Belly button level right there. And this is how you want to be. So even when you dance alone, this is where you want your arms to be. Sometimes you feel it like a little constricted, which is not great. Sometimes you feel like you're here, which is again not great. Sometimes you might feel a little bit too much movement, which is again not great. So there's a lot of things that you can be doing with your hands. Nothing is technically wrong, because just do as you feel. But there are times where what you're doing feels a little awkward, and you'll see that some of the better dancers, they're in control of their hands, of their upper body, and it just looks better. So this is what I'm going to be trying to work on, because sometimes I feel like I saw a video, I'm out here, I might be here when I spin, they might not be in control. There's a thing that I like to do, which is like hold here with the hand. This would be the hand that's on somebody's back, like on their shoulder. Have this here, so if I'm like this and I'm dancing here, this looks a little bit more natural and it's not moving too much. I usually don't have this problem. I do have this problem sometimes, where it's just like you don't want to touch something. The basic idea is, if you have like a little broomstick or a stick, you want them to be level. My teacher used to teach with like cups of water in your hand that you don't want them to spill. And remember that in Dominican Bachata, you're supposed to have a drink in your hand and you're just here vibing. All this other stuff is a little bit too much when you're just vibing here, listening to the music, singing, feeling it. Like, it's supposed to be a little bit more calm. You can do a lot of this stuff, especially on the quicker stuff like yesterday. But today we're not doing quick stuff. Hands, belly button out here. You want them out here, upper body. So if you're just doing a regular basic in place, you want to shift the rib cage, but you see that it's not my whole thing. And remember, if you're like 6 inches down, you want to be even. You want to be consistent through your steps. And then what only changing is that you can lead with your rib cage this way, let your body follow, lead, follow, lead, follow, lead, follow, lead, follow. And that's sort of how you get that little motion in. And then you can move your shoulders like this, but you see how my hands aren't really moving. And then a little bate flow, which you might see me just loosen up my hands. You can have them completely loose, but they are following the frame of your body. So which is why they are moving in this direction. They're not just being wild or whatever. So you want to be at like, what is it, like 10%? If this is completely loose, this is completely rigid, let's do something like 50%, where it's here, you're loose. You're not really leading with your elbows. This is not salsa, right? Bachata is not salsa. You just want to be calm, still, here. Because remember, if you're holding somebody, you don't want to be moving them, telling them a whole bunch of stuff to do. Because once you do something, they're going to react to it. So don't keep telling them to do something unless you want them to do something. Your hands should be pretty much firm and basic, and then you can just play with it a little bit here, here. But that's the idea, right? So rib cage here, we're working on upper frame. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you see how your shoulders kind of do it. And then when you dip down on the 1 and 5, see how it's kind of still there. And then you can just do this little motion here. And then if you have a more feminine style for ladies or whoever wants to be a little bit more of a feminine style, masculine style is going to always be shoulders back, broad, stiff here, and then a little bit more, I don't want to call it violent, but it's just a little bit more in control. And then a more feminine style would be a little bit more flowy with your hands. You're trying to, like, if you're wearing a backpack, follow the straps that you would have. So your hands will follow in that line, right? Also, because since you're not leading, your hands can do whatever you want. You can style however you want because you don't have to worry about leading. As a man, you have to worry about leading, so you should never be doing too much because this is going to be hard to follow. But as a follower, you can do whatever you want because it is your dance. So if you want to do a little bit more here as a follow or as a more feminine style, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see, and then you have that little hold, and then you're still here, and you can have your shoulders flow, your hips flow, right, and then down, down, and then you combine it all, and that's how you work that. So then it's like, you see this motion, chest over there, hip out there, knees bent, and then you flip it. Then this comes from the little merengue, and then you add your little step, and that's how you do hands.